Okay, Keep Track Week. If you're new, Keep Track Week is a week where I keep track of something at the live poker tables each day. Something that might be common for online poker, something maybe that's not common anywhere, but I keep track of it. In the last 2 calendar years, I made videos. So in one city, I would keep track of 5 things, and I would tell you the data. Then I would do it in a second city, then I would do it in a third city, and I would compare. So some things were like dealer tips, hands per hour, raised multi-way flops, pot size, things like that. And no one out there is really keeping track of these things, but I did. So, like I said, in the last 2 years, I made videos for them. Now, 2024, I still did it. I started it. I did it for one city. I did it playing 2-5 in Vegas, and I put that data in the September issue of the newsletter that is for my paid members on my Patreon page. Always thought it made more sense for that segment to be something in like a print format, charts, graphs, read it at your own leisure rather than just say the stuff in audio-visual form. In the past, I've made those videos like 4 or 5 minutes. It's like a stretch to get them that long. They could be as quick as like 30 seconds. Tell you what I'm gonna keep track of, and then hours later when I'm done playing, tell you what the number is. Like, the video can be incredibly short. It's like a challenge sometimes to even make it like kind of entertaining and like 4 or 5 minutes long. So move that to my newsletter on my Patreon page. I'm also going to do it the second city. I plan on it being a $2 big blind game in a city I've never played poker before. The third city, for comparison purposes, I think it will be a $5 big blind game in a city I've never played poker before. The 2-5 in Vegas was in September's issue of the newsletter that was published the first Monday of September. The second city that I'm planning on and the third, all of that will still only be in the newsletter. But there are a few people who really like Keep Track Week. And even if you don't sign up to be a paid member on my Patreon page, I would like to give those people these videos. So for the people who really like it, I'm gonna do it. 5 videos, keeping track of 5 different things here in Council Bluffs, Iowa. Also, second reason I'm gonna do it, a little bit of kind of like a preview, a little advertising for the newsletter. So today is day 1. The first thing will be dealer tips, very popular one. Today I'm going to count dealer tips for 5 hours. Some of these things are per time. Dealer tips is definitely one. You want to know like how much are the dealers making per hour. A few of the things are like per hand, like per 100 hands. How often does this thing happen? Anyway, today's is per time, so for 5 hours, I'm going to count all the tips given to the dealers, and when I'm done playing, I plan on playing a lot more than 5 hours, but I will stop the count after my first 5 hours, and eventually I will be back here, right here, standing in this spot, right next to this one-way sign. I will be right here. It will be dark out there. Right now it's light out there. It will be dark. I promise you, I will have the count after 5 hours of play. All right, I am back. I'm right here. I told you I would be. There's the one-way sign, and it is dark. I played dealer tips. Okay, so right here are the numbers. What is it, like 33, 65, 26, 21, 40? The numbers in the other half of the screen right here, those are correct. I don't know if I got it memorized exactly. Okay, interesting. It was kind of slow. Yeah, I didn't expect any of the hours. I counted for 5 hours. I didn't expect any of the hours to be in the 20s. It was odd. I guess not. The biggest thing was just not like many huge tips. Sometimes in like very local places like this, you see like 3, 5, like $6 tips, where you would often see like 1 or 2 other places. That wasn't happening so much. Also, there was a guy, it was strange. He knows poker. He talks about playing in California before he moved. I've been here a week and I played with him several times. Like he understands poker. He was not tipping early on, which was weird. He was tipping the waitress. So the way drinks work here, if you are not diamond, if you're a lower status, you have to pay for drinks. Well, you order a drink and the waitress says, is anyone here diamond? Like half the table raises their hand, and then the waitress can bring a free drink. So a lot of people in that situation, between like paying $7 for a beer and tipping on top of that, they're getting the drink for free. They're like very happy to tip a large amount, like $5 for the beer, because otherwise it was going to be like, you know, 8, 9, or 10 or something. he was tipping $5 each beer he got to the waitress. So it's not like he's anti-tipping. He just wasn't tipping in poker early. Towards the end, he was. But anyway, towards the end of the night, I was done counting. Like, I played more than 5 hours. At the point where I was done counting, he had very rarely tipped. He did afterwards. So a lot of the hands he won were not getting tips. Also, 2 guys at the table, 2 younger guys, I got the sense they didn't play a lot of live casino poker. One was in town just because the Colorado at Nebraska game is tomorrow. He's from Colorado. And they didn't seem to understand that tipping was a thing. That would be my guess. So the guy on my left, myself, the guy on my right, the guy 2 to my right, we were tipping. The guy 2 to my left even, like, plenty of us were, but there were some instances where it wasn't happening. So it was low, and that hour 2 in the 60s, a guy won it all in with a straight flush. So not only did he win a large pot, he also got a bonus for hitting a straight flush. Around here, quads of the day pays. It's 3 or 4 different ranks each day, but in addition to that, every straight flush pays. There's also a bad beat jackpot. So any straight flush using both hole cards, that pays. He hit a straight flush, so he tipped a lot. It was like, I think 30 altogether. He kind of tipped in like 2 instances, but I think the total was 30. So that's why that number is like so high. That's not normal, but anyway, but without that, if he didn't hit that straight flush, the numbers would have been lower than I expected. Unfortunately, I didn't give a guess before I played. That would have been nice. Maybe in future days, I'll do that. Remind me tomorrow to venture a guess before I go in and play and count everything. But there are the numbers. The total, what, 185? So still solid. Just I think last year and the year before it was higher, and numbers a little lower than I expected, even including that very large tip from Mr. Straight Flush. Here, I'll come to the ledge and show you the beauty that is the Tyson Chicken Factory right across the street behind me. So yeah, to wrap things up, a lot of it started because a lot of people would like mention certain metrics at the table, and well, it's just like conversations that really lead nowhere unless someone actually counts it, and then we have some numbers. So I started counting some things. Actually, the original was one guy, the dealers were about to change in Bellagio in like 2015 or 16, and one guy said, I'm going for every hand. I want to win every hand that the next dealer deals. And it was amazing how many he won. I think he won like 15 of 22, which is an amazing clip. That was great. He didn't win every one like he wanted, but 15 out of 22 was a ton. But then it hit me because I was the one counting. No one else was going to count, so I counted. But then it hit me like, this dealer, who I never thought was all that fast, just got 22 hands in 30 minutes, and that was the big thing. Like, how many hands do you see in live poker? Online, the software counts for you live. I mean, at the time, I don't know if Live at the Bike was putting up those stats. I remember sometime in my life seeing like hands per hour, watching a live stream. I don't know if at the time I had seen it yet, but like, no one was counting. Someone has to count. So that intrigued me, and then I started counting every once in a while just out of curiosity. And yeah, it was more. A lot of people at the time in like 2015 were saying like, I don't know, 25 to like 35 maybe. It was often higher than that. So just I was curious, and if you want to find out, you have to actually count it. So I started counting that, and then some other things the last few years with the channel. So this was the first one. Day 1 Keep Track Week, Council Bluffs. Throw that chart up one more time. There are the dealer tips for 5 hours of play in Council Bluffs on this Friday. If it skews things, it skews things. This was the first Friday of the World Series of Poker circuit stop. Yeah, so the room was busier than normal, but whatever. It's small samples, you know, I'm not counting for like years on end. I counted for 5 hours. There are the numbers. See everyone tomorrow. Thanks for watching the video. If you're enjoying this content and want even more poker, Las Vegas, and travel content, feel free to sign up to receive my monthly newsletter via my Patreon page. It's $5 a month. There are 3 ways to sign up. You could either type in the link you've been seeing at the bottom of the screen, or you could go to my YouTube homepage and in the center of the screen, click on the link to my Patreon page, or you could go into any recent video of mine, go into the description box below the video, and click on the link to my Patreon page from there. Once you're on the Patreon page, click on Start Free Trial, and follow all the prompts. The first 7 days are free. It's $5 a month after that, and you will receive 1 monthly newsletter about everything poker, Las Vegas, and travel related. If you want to see the first one I created, which is free for everybody, feel free to click the link on the top of the screen or the link to the video that's on the screen in the bottom left-hand corner right now.